The silence on the bridge was unsettling. Captain Alex Mercer stood motionless, his eyes locked on the massive object that had just appeared in Earth's orbit. It was unlike anything they had ever encountered, an obsidian structure, vast and ominous, blocking out the sun. The ship's sensors flickered and failed, overwhelmed by the sheer presence of the alien behemoth. "Captain, all systems are malfunctioning," Lieutenant Maria Kwan reported, her voice tight with tension. She swiped frantically at her console, trying to stabilize the erratic readings. "This thing, it's disrupting everything." Mercer didn't respond immediately. He was too busy calculating the odds. The object had arrived without warning, defying every known law of space travel. That alone suggested an advanced civilization, one that could obliterate Earth if provoked. But there was something else, something more than the simple threat of annihilation. This arrival felt deliberate, calculated. It was no accident. "Lieutenant, I need full diagnostic reports," Mercer ordered, his voice calm despite the chaos. He couldn't afford to show fear, not now. "And initiate a passive scan. Let's see if we can learn anything before it decides to turn hostile." Lieutenant Kwan nodded, her fingers moving with precision. "Yes, sir. Scanning now, but... Captain, the energy signature. It's unlike anything I've seen. It's ancient." "Ancient?" Mercer echoed, frowning. That didn't make sense. Advanced civilizations didn't rely on old technology. But before he could probe further, a new alert flashed on the main display, an incoming transmission, garbled and indecipherable. "Commander Mercer, what's the status?" Admiral Helena Drake's voice crackled over the comms. She was the highest-ranking officer in Earth's defense fleet, and if she was contacting them directly, it meant she knew the situation was dire. "Uncertain, Admiral," Mercer replied, glancing at the transmission feed. "We've got an alien structure in orbit. It's massive, and it's blocking out the sun. We're attempting to establish communication, but so far, nothing." "Is it hostile?" Drake's question was pointed, but the unspoken concern was clear. If it was, Earth had little time to respond. "Unknown. But it's heavily armed. We've detected energy buildup in several sections, possible weaponry," Mercer said, keeping his tone even. He needed to buy time, to learn more before making any irreversible decisions. "Understood. Keep me updated. Earth is on high alert," Admiral Drake responded, her voice firm despite the underlying tension. The calm line went silent, leaving Mercer and his crew alone with the enormity of the alien structure. Kwan's console beeped, drawing her attention. Her eyes widened as she deciphered the latest scan results. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. The energy signature, it matches something from Earth's past. Something prehistoric." "Prehistoric?" Mercer repeated, his mind racing. "Are you saying this thing might be connected to Earth?" "I'm not sure, sir," Kwan replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But whatever it is, it's been here before." The revelation sent a shiver down Mercer's spine. The object wasn't just alien, it was ancient, with ties to a time before recorded history. He stared at the dark structure looming in the void, his instincts screaming that this was no coincidence. Earth was being tested, but by what, and for what purpose? As the ship's lights flickered once more, Mercer realized they had no choice but to engage, cautiously but resolutely. Whatever the object's intentions, humanity would face it head-on. "Prepare for first contact," he ordered, his voice steely. "Let's find out what they want, before it's too late." The tension on the bridge thickened as they awaited the unknown, their fates tied to an ancient mystery now shadowing Earth itself. The air on the bridge grew colder as the reality of the situation sank in. Captain Mercer's mind raced with possibilities, each more troubling than the last. The ancient structure, now confirmed to have ties to Earth's distant past, had shifted from a mere threat to a profound mystery, one that could redefine everything humanity knew about its origins. "Captain, the transmission is clearing up," Lieutenant Kwan announced, her voice laced with urgency. On the main display, the static-filled image began to coalesce into something recognizable. It was a symbol, an intricate, swirling design that pulsed with a faint, eerie light. Mercer recognized it instantly. "Impossible," he muttered, stepping closer to the screen. The symbol was a near-perfect match to one found in cave paintings across the world, dating back tens of thousands of years. But how could that be? Humanity had barely begun to walk upright when these beings were already exploring the stars. "It matches, doesn't it?" Quan asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. "The same symbol found in the Chauvet cave in France, the Altamira in Spain. It's everywhere." Mercer nodded slowly. "This changes everything. If they've been here before, they've had influence on human civilization for millennia." The tension on the bridge thickened as the implications became clear. This wasn't just an alien encounter. It was a reckoning with a force that had shaped Earth's history in ways no one could have imagined. "Sir, should we respond?" asked Lieutenant Reed, the communications officer, breaking the uneasy silence. His hand hovered over the console, ready to transmit a signal. Mercer considered his options. A misstep could provoke a devastating response, but silence might be interpreted as fear, or worse, defiance. He took a breath and made his decision. "Open a channel," he ordered. "Broadcast on all frequencies." Reed complied, and a soft chime signaled the open channel. Mercer stepped forward, his voice calm but commanding. "This is Captain Alex Mercer of the Earth ship Dauntless. We acknowledge your presence and wish to establish peaceful communication. We seek to understand your intentions." For a moment, there was only the hum of the ship's systems, and then, impossibly, a voice responded. It was deep, resonant, with an unearthly quality that seemed to vibrate within their very bones. "Children of Earth," the voice began, each word deliberate and heavy with meaning. "You have grown since we last walked your lands. But the time has come for you to face the truth of your origin." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. Mercer remained focused, determined to keep the conversation on course. "What truth?" he asked, his tone steady. "What do you want from us?" The voice paused, as if considering the question. Then, with a tone of finality, it spoke again. "The truth of your creation. You were not alone in your rise. We guided you, shaped you, but now you must prove your worth. Your world will soon face a trial, one that will determine if you are ready to stand among the stars, or fall into darkness." A cold shiver ran down Mercer's spine. This wasn't just a threat, it was a test, one they had no choice but to face. "And if we fail?" he asked, already fearing the answer. "Then your world will be returned to the shadows from which it emerged," the voice replied, its words echoing ominously through the ship. The channel closed abruptly, leaving the crew in stunned silence. The weight of what had just transpired hung in the air like a dense fog. Mercer clenched his fists, his mind already racing for solutions. "We need answers," he said, turning to Quan. "Start analyzing every piece of data we have on this structure and its connection to Earth. We need to know what we're up against." As Quan and the crew scrambled into action, Mercer couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's survival hinged on uncovering a secret buried deep within its own past, before it was too late. Captain Mercer stood at the center of the bridge, his gaze fixed on the holographic display. The image of the ancient symbol, pulsing with an unsettling energy, hovered in the air like a specter from the past. The weight of the alien message hung heavy on his shoulders, a message that could either unite humanity or doom it. "Status report," Mercer commanded, his voice cutting through the tense silence. Lieutenant Quan responded, her fingers dancing across the console. "We've begun cross-referencing the symbol with every known archaeological database, sir. So far, we've identified over a dozen matches and sites across Earth, each one linked to unexplained technological anomalies." Mercer's eyes narrowed. "Technological anomalies? Elaborate." Quan nodded, her expression serious. "In every case, the symbols were found near artifacts or structures far beyond the capabilities of the civilizations that created them. The Chauvet Cave, the Pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, there's evidence suggesting these were more than just cultural or religious sites. They may have been built with guidance, perhaps even direct intervention, from the beings who left this symbol. The captain clenched his jaw. It was one thing to theorize about ancient astronauts, but this was confirmation that humanity's history was not its own. It was shaped, molded by unseen hands, and now those hands were reaching out once more. "Keep digging, Lieutenant," Mercer said, his tone resolute. "We need to understand what these beings want, before they force us to submit." As Kwan returned to her work, the ship's sensors began to chirp with sudden activity. Ensign Patel, the tactical officer, straightened in his seat. "Captain, we've got movement. Multiple contacts emerging from the structure's core." Mercer turned to the main viewport, where a fleet of sleek, dark vessels began to materialize from the depths of the alien structure. Their hulls gleamed with an obsidian-like sheen, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. They moved with a grace and precision that sent a chill down Mercer's spine. "They're deploying," Patel said, his voice tense. 3 ships on an intercept course with us, no visible weapon signatures, but their speed and formation suggest high-level tactical coordination. Mercer's mind raced. They had no idea what these ships were capable of, but he couldn't risk provoking a confrontation. Not yet. "Maintain defensive posture," he ordered. "Do not engage unless fired upon. Let's see if they make the first move." The bridge crew watched in silence as the alien ships closed the distance, their formation tightening as they neared the Dauntless. The tension was palpable, the air thick with anticipation. Every second felt like an eternity. Then, without warning, the largest of the alien vessels halted, hovering just outside the Dauntless' weapons range. A moment later, a new transmission crackled through the comms. This time, the voice was different. It was feminine, with a sharp, almost metallic edge, yet beneath it was an undeniable undertone of authority. "Children of Earth," the voice began, echoing the first transmission. "You have shown resilience in the face of the unknown, but strength alone will not secure your survival. The trial ahead will test more than your might, it will test your spirit, your unity. Fail, and your world will burn." Mercer's fists tightened, his knuckles white. "What is this trial? What do you want from us?" he demanded, struggling to keep his voice steady. The alien voice paused, as if contemplating the question. "The answers you seek lie within your own history. We have given you the tools, now you must prove your worth. Return to the place where your journey began, where the first of your kind was shaped. Only there will you find the key to your survival." The transmission cut out abruptly, leaving the crew in a stunned silence once more. Mercer felt the eyes of his crew on him, waiting for orders, for guidance. But all he had were more questions. What did they mean by the place where our journey began? Was it Earth? Or somewhere else, somewhere they had yet to discover? "Set a course for Earth," Mercer ordered, his voice firm despite the uncertainty gnawing at him. "If these beings think they can toy with us, they're in for a surprise. We'll face this trial, whatever it is, and we'll prove them wrong." The crews sprang into action, their movements fueled by a renewed sense of purpose. The tension on the bridge remained, but now it was laced with determination. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for the right to define their own destiny. As the Dauntless leaped into hyperspace, Captain Mercer couldn't shake the feeling that the real trial wasn't what awaited them, but what they were about to uncover within themselves. The Dauntless emerged from hyperspace with a shudder, the stars of Earth's solar system streaking back into clarity. The blue marble of their home world filled the viewport, a comforting sight amid the uncertainty. But comfort was fleeting, and Captain Mercer knew it. The trial the aliens had promised awaited them, and he had no illusions about its severity. "Status report," Mercer ordered, his tone steady despite the churn of anxiety in his gut. Lieutenant Kwan's hands flew over her console. "We're picking up unusual energy readings from the planet's surface, sir. They're originating from an area in eastern Africa, near Oldaway Gorge." Oldaway Gorge? The cradle of humanity, where the earliest evidence of human ancestors had been discovered. Mercer's eyes narrowed. The aliens had spoken of returning to the beginning, to the place where their journey started. This was no coincidence. "Bring us into low orbit above the site," Mercer commanded. And prepare a shuttle. I want boots on the ground in 5 minutes. The bridge buzzed with activity as the crew scrambled to execute his orders. Patel, the tactical officer, was already coordinating the away team, selecting those who could handle the unknown. The tension was palpable, but so was the determination. They were ready to face whatever lay ahead. Minutes later, Mercer, Kwan, and Patel descended to the surface aboard the shuttle. The atmosphere within the craft was thick with anticipation. The gorge stretched out beneath them, a rugged scar in the earth, filled with ancient secrets. As the shuttle touched down, the eerie quiet of the place settled over them like a shroud. "Keep your eyes open," Mercer instructed as they disembarked, the soft crunch of boots on dirt echoing in the stillness. "We don't know what we're dealing with." Kwan scanned the surroundings with a handheld device. "The energy readings are stronger here, but they're layered. Like there's more than one source." Mercer frowned. "Layered? How is that possible?" Before Kwan could answer, the ground trembled. A low rumble grew into a violent quake, forcing the team to brace themselves against the shuttle. From the heart of the gorge, a fissure opened, and a blinding light erupted from the depths. The air crackled with energy, and a high-pitched hum filled the air, resonating through their bones. "Captain, we need to fall back!" Patel shouted over the noise. But Mercer's instincts told him otherwise. This was the trial. This was what the aliens had sent them to face. If they turned back now, they might never understand. "Hold your ground," he ordered, his voice cutting through the chaos. The light coalesced into a shimmering field, forming an ethereal structure, a gateway, vast and ancient. Symbols, the same ones they had seen before, pulsed along its surface. Mercer's breath caught as he realized what it was. The gateway was a test, a challenge left by the beings who had influenced humanity's past. Only those deemed worthy could pass through. Kwan's eyes widened as she deciphered the symbols. "It's a trial of unity, sir. The symbols describe a process. 3 must enter, 1 mind, 1 purpose. If we succeed, we prove humanity's strength. If we fail, we won't fail," Mercer said, the weight of responsibility settling heavily on his shoulders. "We've come too far." Together, the 3 of them approached the gateway. As they drew near, the hum intensified, resonating with the beat of their hearts. The air shimmered, and they felt a tug, a pull on their very essence, drawing them toward the threshold. But it wasn't a pull of force, it was a call, a demand for unity. They had to synchronize their thoughts, their intentions, or be torn apart. "Focus on one thing," Mercer urged, his voice calm and clear. "Survival. Humanity's survival." They linked hands, and for a moment, the chaos around them faded. Thoughts aligned, their minds coalesced into a singular purpose. The gateway pulsed, reading their unity. Then, with a blinding flash, they were through. On the other side, they found themselves in a vast chamber, filled with ancient machinery and glowing with a soft, otherworldly light. At the center stood a monolithic console, its surface engraved with the symbols that had haunted them. As they approached, the symbols shifted, transforming into a language they could understand. "Congratulations, children of Earth. You have passed the test. Your unity is your strength, your will to survive your shield. This is your inheritance, the knowledge of the ancients, the key to your future. Use it wisely, for it is both a gift and a burden. ***. Mercer exhaled, the tension in his chest releasing all at once. They had done it. They had faced the trial, and they had emerged victorious. But the message was clear, the path ahead would not be easy. They now carried the weight of a legacy far older than their civilization. As they prepared to return to the Dauntless, Mercer glanced back at the gateway. The trial was over, but their journey was just beginning. The future of humanity lay in their hands, and with it, the responsibility to shape it.